Instagram was ruining my life. The best part about FOMO is when I checked my screen time, no. Hi buds, keep it real with me guys. When's the last time you scrolled on social media for hours, then put your phone down and thought, yeah, I feel good and that was a really good use of my time? Do you ever feel like your thumb just habitually scrolls on social media like you're in zombie mode until 2 a.m.? You're trying to go to sleep, but you open TikTok. If that hits home for you, don't feel attacked because that was literally my life. Social media had a chokehold on my time, my mental health, my energy, my mood. I was addicted and it was ruining my self-esteem, my productivity. Don't even get me started. I hit a breaking point, as one does, and in 2019 I decided to quit social media. I made a whole video about this. I stopped scrolling. I went completely off the grid. I didn't look at any friends' posts. I didn't post anything for 5 years. Until now, I have decided to come back after 5 years. But why? And what's different this time around? Do I still have the same bad habits? What did I learn from being 5 years off social media? Do I still think social media is toxic? My advice to anyone who's overwhelmed and is thinking about taking a break, we go over all of that. So make sure to stay till the end. Also, if we're meeting for the first time, hello, welcome to It's Giving Growth. Here we plant the seeds for your self-growth, and so subscribe for weekly content to get your life together and become a bud. So I quickly want to go over why I quit to begin with. Again, please check out my other video, but I'll quickly recap. I quit for 5 main reasons. The first one was external validation. When I tell you, I would post a picture and just sit there refreshing the page, waiting for likes to come in. The more likes that I got on a post, I would feel better about myself. And the less likes I got, the lower my self-esteem dropped. I made myself worth that number of likes that was assigned to me by other people. And on top of that, I felt like I needed that validation of people seeing how cool my life was. If I did something cool, like I went on vacation and didn't post about it, I felt like that wasn't even worth it then. What was the point? The second reason I quit was comparison. This will eat you alive. I think this happened on a pretty subconscious level because I'm not sitting there scrolling, seeing someone going on vacation thinking like, but how come their life is better than mine? I was happy for them, but there was, I think, a pretty subconscious part of me that always thought like, damn, like I wish I was on vacation. There was this underlying feeling of like, I'm not doing enough, my life is not up to par. The third reason I quit is because your girl got sucked in to performative culture. This is almost like embarrassing to say. But when I couldn't keep up, it incentivized me to pretend, incentivized me to put on an act and perform on social media instead of be authentic. I was being fake. Let's just call it what it is. Have you ever posted a picture smiling when you weren't really happy? I know friends that post pictures with their boyfriends when they were just in a fight, but they'll stop the fight mid-fight and be like, okay, but we gotta get a picture though because we both look good right now. Things like that, and like filters and editing. I used to spend like literally almost an hour taking 40-50 selfies to just to get the perfect one. Y'all, it got intense. The fourth reason I quit because of time. Pull out your phone, let's talk screen time. I would spend, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing to say, I would spend like over 5, sometimes over 6 hours on social media each day. And it wasn't even a choice. It wasn't even like, oh yeah, I want to spend this much time. It just felt habitual. It felt addictive. And I talked about this in my last video. Just know that every time you open Instagram, there's been hours and billions of dollars of research spent into curating the content so you don't leave the app, because more time on the app is more money for them. And the fifth reason I quit is I had a poor mental diet on social media. Basically, this means that I was following people who I didn't even like, strangers who I met at a party once in like 2018 and they just happened to still be on my page. You need to consume nutritious food to have a good diet. You need to consume nutritious media to have a good mental health diet. And mine was garbage, literal trash. Moving on to the juicy parts. What was it like being off of social media for 5 years? People were always so shocked when they found out I wasn't on Instagram because they were like, but how do you keep up with people? How do you know what your friends were doing? Don't you have FOMO? That was the biggest question. So let's talk about FOMO. Yes, I had major FOMO in the beginning. I got like antsy about it. I was like, what if I miss out on something important? How am I supposed to know what this person had for breakfast? People I knew would be getting engaged and having babies and be posting that on Facebook and Instagram, and I just didn't know. I was getting everything secondhand, word of mouth, I know, right? Like in like the 1700s, right? I definitely was out of the loop with everyone. And you're probably wondering like, Gigi, why are you telling us this? Isn't this supposed to like incentivize us to get off social media? And here's the thing, here's how you deal with FOMO. You're not gonna like the answer. It's you, accept it. And hang on, before you click out of this video because it's making you mad, let me explain further because there are some perks of having FOMO. First of all, it kind of forced me to connect with my friends more in real life. And I was always the person who said like, okay, but like why do I need to see you in person if I can just like, you know, get the news on social media? It really emphasized how important in-person connection is because hearing about your friend's proposal story in real life is so much better than seeing a slideshow of it online. And second of all, and this is really one of my favorite things about not being on social media is loud. When you spend 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours a day on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, you're quite literally focusing on everyone else's life, right? You're looking at, oh, so-and-so got this for dinner and so-and-so went on this vacation. It's literally about everyone else. And I don't know about you, but basically my life back then was work and then chill from work, aka scroll on social media. So my entire 24 hours was working for someone else and then coming home and looking at other people's lives. Being off social media was a breath of fresh air because I had so much more time, energy, and focus and attention on myself. I started this YouTube channel and grew it to thousands of subscribers. I can pretty confidently say I don't know if I would have ever gotten around to doing it because this takes time and I literally just didn't have the time because I was using my time to consume everyone else's life. You know how there's like the whole decenter men trend or decenter work? I decentered everyone and it was amazing. I grew so much in the past 5 years than I have in my entire life. I learned so much about myself. I picked up new hobbies. I hung out with friends more in person. I started therapy. The past 5 years have been a crash course on like finding myself and learning about myself. And I know that only came from actually paying attention to myself and not everyone else. And also I want to pause there and talk a little bit about finding myself. So many people feel like they don't really know themselves, especially in their 20s, and like they don't have a lot of hobbies and they feel lost about like what their passions are, what they actually want to do with their life. This is kind of hard to explain, but when I was on social media, I felt like I didn't have the chance to form my own opinions about things because social media was so loud that like everything that was trending tends to be pretty polarized and opinionated, and so I just consumed that and inherited those thoughts. Like if a video went viral about, if your man's not doing this for you, then he's trash. Or if some season of like Love is Blind came out and then everyone was talking about, can you believe she did this? Isn't that so messed up? And that was what was trending on Twitter or something, like that would kind of be the attitude I had before I even got a chance to think about how I really felt about it. My opinion was tainted because everyone else's opinion was so loud. Social media really amplifies opinions. And so while I was off social media, I feel like I really got to like dial that volume down and tune out everyone else's opinions, voices, and just hear my own. I finally had the space to think about big topics like politics, relationships, philosophy in my own quiet headspace. Moving on to probably the biggest question I get asked is why did I choose to come back on? Do you ever see those celebrities who are like, I'm gonna take a break off social media for my mental health, but then they're back on like literally 6 hours later? I feel like when people take breaks, they don't really come back on for the right reasons. So if you're taking a break or you're thinking about taking a break from social media, here are some bad reasons to come back on and some good reasons to come back on. Do not come back on because you give up, because you can't take the FOMO anymore. Come on. You're stronger than that. Don't come back on because you have anxiety of not knowing what everyone's up to. Definitely do not come back on for the attention and the validation. If you feel like that's your issue, like your self-esteem fluctuates based on how many likes you get, don't come back on because you miss the flood of comments of all of your friends telling you that you're pretty. Don't come back on because you're bored. I promise there are so many better things to do with your time. Start hobbies, start a YouTube channel, find yourself, do research. Coming back on because you're bored, because you're anxious, because you have FOMO, all of these things means you have a scarcity mindset towards it. Means this thing called social media still actually has a chokehold on you, still actually has control over you if you feel like it's pulling you in. And now here are the good reasons, aka my reasons for coming back on. People always ask me like, how did you do it? Were you not tempted to go back on? And the answer is yes, I was. That's exactly why I stayed off. I stayed off until that temptation was gone. I waited it out until I didn't feel that pull to go back in. I didn't feel like social media was drawing me back in. I feel like I walked my way back in with my own agency. It kind of reminds me of like toxic relationships. Like, do you have a toxic ex or like a sneaky link? If you're going back to that sneaky link or that toxic ex, because like you feel like you need them. We all know that's not healthy, right? Stay with me. Let's use that same logic on social media. I didn't go back on until I felt confident enough that I could live my life without it. The second reason I've decided to come back on is during my time off, like I said, I learned a lot about myself, but that also meant that I became very inward. I became a really private person, and I was a lot less connected with the world. And I've come to a place now where I feel ready to connect with the world again, to put myself out there, to be less private. And also just on a really practical level, social media can be really great for networking, opportunities, even things like just if I see someone at a cool restaurant, just sliding up on their story and saying, hey, what restaurant is this? Like getting to know things and people. And the third reason I came back is to appreciate the things that I actually do love about social media, because social media can actually be a beautiful place, believe it or not. Facebook will have me rolling on the ground laughing with its memes. I've been inspired to cook more because of TikTok. The next thing I want to go over, now that I'm back, what is it like and what have I learned? And this is a segment I'm starting calling Q&A, but not Q&A. Q&A standing for meaning questions nobody asked, but I'm asking myself and answering. First question is, am I a different person? Yes, 100% yes. I feel like I truly decentered everyone and I'm way much more self-confident and about myself. Like I think about myself more. I think about my needs and values more. I form my own opinions. The second question is, what surprised me about coming back? Well, I'm glad I asked. Maybe it's just me and I'm gonna sound like a loser, but so I was off for 5 years, right? I guess I thought that when I went back on, I would come back to like messages about people asking me like, oh, where have you been? Or that when I posted for the first time again, everyone would comment like, hey, it's been so long. No one really did that. Everyone who follows you on Instagram is not your friend. You have friends that are Instagram friends, but not all your Instagram friends are your friends. Like most people don't actually care. Most of those people were people I knew from high school or college or like met once at a party. And it really reminded me about the psychology term, the spotlight effect, that you think everyone's thinking about you a lot more than they are. Now I look back at those times that I spent an hour taking the selfie to get the perfect one. For who? For what? These people didn't care. These people didn't even notice I was gone for 5 years. I learned the people who were actually my friends because those people stayed in touch with me even though I didn't have social media. They called me, they texted me because they wanted to see me. The next question is, after 5 years of being off social media, do I still think social media is toxic? I'm gonna say innately, social media is not toxic. As a culture, we've decided that it's going to be an announcement culture. It's going to be a performative culture. People are gonna post things to impress people. But that's not what it is. Like, you can choose to just post a picture super unedited, sweaty. You can choose to post your bad date. You can choose to post getting fired from your job. And while that's not glamorous, it is authentic. And there is something to be said about that. The last question is, what's different this time around? Do you still have the same bad habits? What steps are you taking to change your relationship to social media? Glad I asked. The following are rules that I have for myself so that I can have a healthy relationship with social media. Because like any relationship, you need boundaries. The first rule is I don't check who viewed my story, how many likes a post got, and how many followers I have. Maybe it's because I've been off for so long, but I've learned that I just don't care. I'm just not stressing about that attention or validation. Like if a post gets 2 likes, I don't care, and better yet, I don't even know, because Instagram now has a feature where you can hide how many people liked your post. Let's say I get 2 likes and people see that I get 2 likes. 5 years ago, I would think that's the most humiliating thing that could possibly happen to me. But now it's like, okay, so what if a post got 2 likes? I think about the saying, if it's not gonna matter in 10 years, don't even spend 10 minutes stressing about it. That is not worth anxiety. If you're judging someone because they got 2 likes on a post, you're the judgmental one. You're the problem. My second rule is I don't post everything cool that happens in my life. And this really helps the external validation problem, where I don't do cool things so that I can look cool for other people. I just do cool things. And I know a lot of people who, and no shame if this is you, because this used to be me too, remember, but like, if they went to dinner with their friends and they didn't post it, they would feel like it's a waste of a dinner. But like, here's the thing, your life is worth just as much even when people aren't looking. Your wins, your promotions, your new cars are just as valuable even when other people aren't applauding it and commenting how cool you are. My third rule is now I do not have a problem blocking you, unfollowing you, muting you, hiding your story. I'll do it all. I don't care. I used to not unfollow people even if it was like someone I once knew 5 years ago, because I guess I was scared I was gonna hurt their feelings, or I just didn't want to make them uncomfortable. But sometimes their posts were making me uncomfortable. So now I curate my Instagram feed, my TikTok feed, so it's truly only posts that make me smile. I did a mass unfollow and basically started from scratch. I made it what I currently want my social media to look like. It's not just a random accumulation of people who I've kind of known over the course of many years. It's exactly what I want to see. It's exactly what makes me happy. Here's the other thing is 5 years ago when I was on social media and I would scroll and I would see like the perfect gym body or the perfect vacation, I would feel less than, right? Like if I saw someone staying at a 5-star hotel, I would be like, damn, like I wish I could afford that. Or if someone had the perfect body, I'd be like, damn, like I wish, you know, my hips were like this or my waist was like this. And obviously that stems from some level of insecurity, right? And I think the healthiest, most self-idealized version of me would be able to see those things and not care at all. But I'm still a work in progress, and I can be honest with myself and know what's healthy for me to see right now. And it's right now, it's probably not like Sports Illustrated bikini covers. It's probably not all of the influencers who edit their pics and have professional photographers. I'm not saying blocking everything that triggers you is like the healthiest thing to do. I'm just being honest about where I'm at. The next rule I have is posting authentically. I have a rule. I need to be able to post with no makeup on. I need to be able to post with no filters on. I need to be able to just post and not spend 30 minutes retaking a selfie before I post it. I don't want you to follow me because you like some glamorous version of me. I want you to follow me because you like me. And guess what? Me looks crazy sometimes. And I think as a culture, we're over the like super aesthetic, perfect all the time influencers. I think there has been a shift towards influencers who are just more authentic. People want to go on Instagram and feel like they can relate to what they see. People want to go on Instagram and see that real gym routine that's sweaty and maybe not the most glamorous. People don't want to see that billionaire influencer on a yacht in Greece. The next rule is I put a time limit on it. How much time should you limit yourself to? I feel like that really depends on each person, but I don't think I go on Instagram or TikTok for more than like half an hour every day. I have hobbies now that deeply fulfill me, like building a self-development brand. I don't have the time, nor do I care to now watch other people live their life. I'm just living mine. And the last rule I have is just to continue to make sure I'm using it intentionally. I never want to accidentally fall back into a place where I'm scrolling like a zombie. You should ask yourself, why did I download Instagram in the first place? Because I said I was going to keep up with friends. I ended up following like 4,000 people. I didn't have 4,000 friends. And everything I've said today is just my take on things. It's how I feel. It's my issues with social media. I think you can totally use social media in a healthy way, but you need to consistently audit yourself to make sure you are being healthy. So here are some questions to ask yourself. If you feel like you have an unhealthy relationship with social media, what is the problem? Is it the time? Is it you're comparing yourself to other people? Is it you feel like you're being fake and performative? Are you happy with the content you're consuming? Does it bring you value? Does it make you happy? How much time do you spend on social media? And I would actually go onto your settings and check the screen time, because I think it would surprise most people how much it actually is. Do you feel like you have any kind of validation need from social media? Like if you posted and got no likes, would you still feel pretty? Do you ever edit your pictures or get exhausted by how many retakes you're doing to get the perfect image? The bottom line is, what's your true intention with Instagram? What's your true intention with TikTok? Like literally ask yourself, why am I on this? And make sure that you're living up to your intention. Please feel free to share your story about quitting social media, or if you're thinking about quitting. If you like self-development content like this, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really does help my channel out if you want to support. Also, speaking of social media, if you want to support me or see the behind the scenes of my life, check out my Instagram and TikTok. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, buds.